I got a unique opportunity today to evaluate an advanced demo of Puzzllotto, which is a new game by Mike Lee of United Lemur. Now, I don't know if many of you know who Mike is, but he used to work at Delicious Monster, where he got an Apple Design Award for his work with Will Shipley on Delicious Library. And he eventually moved on from Delicious Monster and became the chief architect at Tapulous, where he worked on some very notable titles, including Tap Tap Revenge, which is now featured on the Apple homepage for their advertisements for the iPod Touch, and a few other things. Twinkle, a very good iPhone Twitter client. Mike left Tapulous a little over a month or two ago and went on to start United Lemur, which has been a project he kind of put on the back burner when he went to Tapulous. Puzzllotto is the first offering from the company, and it is really a lot of fun. Actually, I spent an enjoyable amount of time going through the demo, and I haven't actually had something that was just that much fun to play with in a long time. The game claims to be inspired by titles like Myst and Zork, and I can completely see that, because you just you start out with no real obvious prompt, just interact with things and see what happens and try to puzzle out the reasoning of the game as you go. What it actually really reminded me of a lot was an old PC title called The Seventh Guest that my housemates and I used to play in college, and we would all gather around the computer and try and solve these puzzles together, and we'd really get into it. And that's kind of what this game brought up for me. Is that same sense of like, okay, we'll try this and see what happens. And the idea of this level is, I'm not going to give it away, but if you screw up, Fusa appears, and my friend Steve and I were playing it, and I was shrieking Fusa whenever they'd show up. I mean, it was fun. I can really see they've done a good job. This is a limited demo, but from what I can see, they're totally heading in the right direction. It was very enjoyable, and it was fun to interact with it and try and discover what the rules were and how things operated. And you get to explore and discover stuff, and that's great. There's so much going on with United Lemur that it's kind of hard to figure out where to start, and Mike is doing so much with this in kind of typical Mike Lee style that it's kind of hard to figure out how to start talking about this. The first thing is 10% of the iPhone store revenue for this is going to go to the Madagascar Fauna Group, which, that's what United Lemur is all about. It's a conservation group, as well as makers of very, very high-end Mac and now predominantly iPhone applications. Like I said, a chunk of the revenue is going to that. Mike is also starting a new concept called Fundware, which is basically, as far as I can tell, more of a gathering place and sort of a referral for users to become exposed to up-and-coming members of the development community, where trust in the association, like for instance, say Mike Lee says, this company is doing really, really well. I really like what they're doing. We're going to sponsor it as Fundware. That makes it like a featured application, so that the user base can go, oh, I wonder what next great thing is going to come out of the Fundware initiative. So Puzzllotto is the first one for that. The other thing that Mike has been looking into doing is actually having the game play be kind of a one-time real-world thing. So basically, when you finish, whoever finishes the puzzles first is going to win some sort of prize, which I haven't seen the details on that yet. But it's a very creative idea. The idea is that in real time, when the game's released, people are going to be trying to solve it. And since people are trying to solve it first, they're not necessarily going to release how to solve it. And so for that initial time when the game is new, you know, people are going to be kind of racking their heads and just trying to figure it out kind of in parallel. And it should also increase the incentive to get the game if there's a reward for finishing it. So just kind of all the way across the board, this is a brilliant idea. I think it's really good, and I'm looking forward to having the final product and playing it. I definitely recommend it when it comes out. The people that worked on this game are like a who's who in the iPhone development industry right now. You've got Tristan O'Tierney, also from Tapulous, Chris Clark, formerly of Tapulous, Guy English, who is just a great developer, and a few other people I can't remember. But this is kind of an all-star team, and it's a great product. I'm looking forward to it. That's all.